As Kofi approached the ancient baobab, he felt a presence watching him. The air around the tree seemed to hum with energy, and the leaves rustled with whispers of old secrets. Kofi took a deep breath and placed his hand on the trunk of the baobab. The tree felt warm and alive under his touch, as if it were breathing. Suddenly, the ground beneath Kofi's feet began to tremble, and a low, melodic voice filled the air. "Welcome, brave traveler," the voice said. "I am Barko, the guardian spirit of the forest. You seek the Lost Kingdom of Zambala, but first, you must prove your worthiness." Kofi stepped back as a figure emerged from the base of the baobab. Barko was tall and majestic, with eyes that glowed like embers and a crown of leaves upon his head. His presence was both intimidating and reassuring, a testament to his ancient power. "To enter Zambala, you must complete 3 trials," Barko continued. "These trials will test your courage, wisdom, and compassion. Only then will you be deemed worthy to uncover the secrets of the Lost Kingdom." Kofi nodded, his heart pounding with anticipation. "I am ready, Barko. What is the first trial?" Barko raised his hand, and a pathway opened up in the forest, leading to a dark and foreboding cave. "Your first trial is the trial of courage. Within this cave dwells the spirit of fear, a creature that preys upon the deepest terrors of the human heart. You must confront and overcome your fears to pass this trial." Kofi swallowed hard but squared his shoulders, determined to face whatever lay ahead. He walked towards the cave, its entrance a yawning mouth that seemed to swallow the light. As he stepped inside, the darkness enveloped him, and he could feel the weight of the air pressing down on him, thick with the scent of moss and decay. With each step deeper into the cave, Kofi's heartbeat quickened. Shadows danced on the walls, forming twisted shapes that seemed to reach out towards him. His breathing grew shallow as the air turned colder, and the silence was broken only by the sound of his footsteps echoing off the stone. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the cave, soft and sinister. "Kofi, what do you fear most?" it whispered. The voice seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere, wrapping around him like a snake. Kofi tried to steady his breathing, remembering the stories of his ancestors and the courage they had shown. "I fear failing my family, my village," he admitted. "I fear not living up to their expectations." The voice laughed, a cold and mocking sound. "Then face your failure," it hissed. In an instant, the cave transformed. Kofi found himself standing in the center of his village, but it was different, desolate and abandoned. The huts were in ruins, the fields barren, and an eerie silence hung in the air. His family appeared before him, their faces etched with disappointment and sorrow. "Why did you leave us, Kofi?" his mother asked, her voice filled with pain. "We needed you, and you abandoned us." Kofi's heart ached at the sight of his family's anguish. "I wanted to help, to bring prosperity back to our village," he pleaded. "I thought finding Zambala would save us." "But you failed," his father said, his voice like a hammer on Kofi's soul. "You couldn't even save yourself." Kofi felt tears sting his eyes. He knew this was the work of the spirit of fear, manipulating his deepest anxieties. He clenched his fists, summoning the strength to stand tall. "This is not real," he declared, his voice echoing through the illusion. "I may have fears, but I will not let them define me. I will face them and overcome them, for my family, my village, and for the legacy of Zambala." As he spoke, the vision began to fade, and the cave reformed around him. The sinister voice of the spirit of fear faded into a distant echo, and a warm light filled the space. Kofi had passed the trial of courage. Emerging from the cave, Kofi was greeted by Barko, who nodded approvingly. "You have shown great bravery, Kofi. The first trial is complete. Now, you must face the trial of wisdom." Barko led Kofi to a clearing in the forest, where a large stone table stood, covered in intricate carvings and symbols. At the center of the table was a puzzle, composed of dozens of interconnected pieces, each inscribed with ancient runes. "The trial of wisdom requires you to solve this puzzle," Barko explained. "It represents the history and knowledge of Zambala. You must piece it together to reveal the path to the next trial." Kofi examined the puzzle, his mind racing as he tried to decipher the runes. Slowly but surely, the puzzle began to take shape, forming a map of Zambala with symbols indicating key landmarks and paths. As Kofi placed the final piece, the puzzle glowed brightly, and the image transformed into a three-dimensional representation of the kingdom. Barco smiled, his eyes filled with pride. "You have demonstrated great wisdom, Kofi. The second trial is complete. Now, you must face the final trial, the trial of compassion." Barco led Kofi to a serene glade, where a beautiful, clear stream flowed through the heart of the forest. By the stream sat a young girl, her face streaked with tears. She looked up as Kofi approached, her eyes filled with sorrow. "This is Amina," Barco explained. "Her village has been struck by a terrible illness, and she seeks help to save her people. The trial of compassion requires you to aid her, despite the risks and challenges it may pose to your own quest." Kofi knelt beside Amina, his heart aching for her plight. "I will help you, Amina," he said softly. "Show me the way to your village." Amina led Kofi through the forest, the journey taking them further away from the path to Zambala. Kofi knew that time was of the essence, but he could not ignore the suffering of others. When they arrived at Amina's village, the scene was heartbreaking. People lay weak and feverish, the air thick with despair. Kofi used the knowledge he had gained from Adisa and his own experiences in the wilderness to identify medicinal herbs and prepare remedies. He worked tirelessly, tending to the sick, offering comfort and hope, and teaching the villagers how to care for one another. Days turned into weeks, and slowly, the villagers began to recover. Throughout this time, Kofi's bond with Amina and her people grew strong. As he prepared to leave, Amina hugged him tightly. "Thank you, Kofi," she whispered. "You have saved us." Barco appeared before Kofi. "You have shown true compassion, Kofi. The final trial is complete. You are worthy to uncover the secrets of Zambala." With the trials behind him, Kofi followed the hidden pathway revealed by the puzzle. It led him to a secluded valley, where the Lost Kingdom of Zambala began to materialize before his eyes. Majestic buildings, lush gardens, and vibrant marketplaces, all restored to their former glory. At the heart of Zambala stood Queen Nondi, her presence radiant and regal. She greeted Kofi with a warm smile, her eyes filled with gratitude. "Welcome, brave adventurer. You have proven yourself worthy to lift the curse and restore our kingdom." Kofi knelt before the queen, holding out the pendant of the ancients. "I am honored, your majesty." Queen Nondi took the pendant and raised it high, its light enveloping the entire kingdom. The curse was lifted, and Zambala was restored to its rightful place in the world. The people of Zambala, who had been hidden in the shadows for so long, emerged to celebrate their newfound freedom and prosperity. Kofi was hailed as a hero, not only for his bravery and wisdom but for his compassion and selflessness. He knew that the true treasure of Zambala was not its riches, but the lessons he had learned and the bonds he had forged along the way. As Kofi prepared to return to his village, Queen Nondi bestowed upon him a gift, a golden amulet, symbolizing the eternal bond between Zambala and his people. "May this amulet remind you of your journey and the legacy you have restored," she said. With a heart full of gratitude and a spirit strengthened by his trials, Kofi returned to his village, where he was welcomed with open arms and joyous celebrations. He shared the stories of his adventure, inspiring others to seek their own paths of courage, wisdom, and compassion. And so, the legend of Kofi and the Lost Kingdom of Zambala became a tale passed down through generations, a testament to the enduring power of bravery, wisdom, and the human heart.